It's pretty incredible when you think about it. He walked away from something huge.
Absolutely. Like a platform that was reportedly worth $120 million.
Right. And not because it was failing or anything. He did it apparently because of principle.
Yeah.
While everyone else in media seemed frantic, chasing ratings, he just stepped back and questioned the whole system, cut right through the noise. And somehow doing that, Jon Stewart became way more than just like a rich comedian. He really became America's trusted voice, a voice of reason almost.
Yeah, an awakening voice, you could say.
Exactly. So our mission here in this deep dive is to really try and unpack that. How did Jon Stewart manage to turn, sharp wit into actual wealth and satire into real substance? And how did he use that platform as such a powerful tool, really, for waking people up?
It's not just about the millions he made, is it?
No, not at all. It's about why he walked away from them. And maybe what that tells us about, value, truth, and playing the long game in this incredibly noisy world we live in.
Well, it's fascinating, isn't it? Because he's not like a billionaire tech founder or anything.
Right.
Yet Jon Stewart built this legacy that what our material suggests it really outlasts any product launch or market trend. His voice was trusted by millions. He really did become a kind of cultural compass.
Yeah.
I mean, from confronting cable news giants right on their own shows.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
To inspiring, 215,000 people for that rally in D.C.?
Huge. A nonpartisan rally, too.
Exactly. He just kept proving that impact isn't always about shouting the loudest. It's often about asking the right questions, providing some clarity.
Which is so rare. So, okay, let's unpack this.
Oh.
How did he actually get that level of influence, such lasting influence? And maybe what can we learn about impact and purpose from his journey, especially for us, navigating this crazy information landscape?
Where do we start?
Let's start with the money, actually, because I think it's kind of a crucial backdrop to his whole philosophy.
Okay.
So as of 2025, his net worth is pegged around $120 million. And during his peak years on The Daily Show, he was reportedly making, $25 to $30 million a year?
Yeah, huge numbers. Among the highest paid in late night, definitely.
But here's the key thing, I think. His wealth didn't come from selling, T-shirts or starting some side company. It seems like it was a byproduct of his main focus. Using that sharp satire to cut through the BS, basically.
Yeah, the misinformation, provoking critical thought.
Exactly. Helping his audience see beyond the curated narratives.
And that brings us to that philosophical decision, doesn't it?
The big one. Walking away in 2015.
Yeah, right at the absolute peak of his fame, his income, everything. He just walks away from The Daily Show.
And his explanation was pretty interesting. He said, it's not that I don't love it anymore. It's that it doesn't feel like it's mine to do forever.
Which suggests it wasn't just burnout, right? It feels more like a calculated philosophical choice.
Yeah.
It seems like Stewart saw money differently. Not as the end goal,
But as a tool.
Exactly. A means to protect his integrity, maybe. Like, where most people see net worth as status, he maybe saw it as leverage.
Leverage to do what? Speak freely.
Yeah, speak freely, act independently, maybe serve some kind of greater public good.
That makes sense.
No.
Because he never really became a brand in that typical way, did he?
No. Despite having millions, he wasn't selling coffee or, God forbid, NFTs. Instead, he sold perspective. He took these dense, complex issues.
Politics, media.
Right, and just meticulously dissected them through that lens of satire, made them relatable, often highlighting the absurdity, the truth within the absurdity.
And wow, what a powerful perspective that turned out to be. There's this quote, his net worth made headlines, but it's his moral equity that made history.
Moral equity. That's an interesting phrase.
Yeah, it suggests like the trust and respect he built up by consistently putting integrity first.
Even when it meant walking away from, an empire.
And maybe that's the truly valuable currency today,
Yeah.
right? In this attention economy where everything's shouting at you. Genuine insight is kind of rare.
It makes you wonder.
Yeah, it makes you think, what does that redefinition of value mean for you listening right now? How do you measure impact in your own world? Is it just numbers or is it something deeper?
Good question.
But, okay, how did he build that trust, that moral equity in the first place? It clearly wasn't just luck.
No, definitely not. It feels like a very deliberate career strategy.
When he took over The Daily Show back in '99, it was, kind of a quirky little late-night comedy show, right?
Yeah.
Modest rating.
Yeah, nothing like what it became.
But he clearly had a vision for it, to turn it into something bigger, a cultural institution.
And it worked. I mean, the New York Times eventually called it the most trusted source of news for young Americans.
Which is just wild for a comedy show.
Totally. And the numbers proved it, didn't they? By 2008, something like 48% of 18 to 29-year-olds were getting their news from his show regularly.
More than from traditional networks like CNN or MSNBC for that age group.
That kind of shift doesn't just happen. It's, like you said, strategy by design. Stewart really got something fundamental about media. If people are laughing, they're listening.
So the humor wasn't just jokes for joke's sake.
Not at all.
Yeah.
He kind of pioneered this model, this satirical journalism.
Yeah.
It delivered serious analysis, but wrapped it in really compelling humor.
And behind the scenes, it was serious business.
Oh, yeah. Deep research, super tight scripting, editorial discipline that honestly probably rivaled actual newsrooms.
Wow.
So his most valuable asset wasn't just the airtime or the audience size, it was trust. He deliberately built The Daily Show into this credibility machine.
And they scaled it, right, by nurturing other talents.
Absolutely. Brilliant move, really. Bringing up people like Stephen Colbert, John Oliver, Hassan Minhaj. I mean, the list goes on. He built an empire of influence, not just a show.
So the approach seems clear. Build influence first, monetize last. Kind of the opposite of how things often work now. But here's where it gets really interesting for me. In this era that's just obsessed with going viral, with instant gratification, how did he build influence that was so deep, so lasting?
Well, it wasn't just about the on-air performance.
Right. We saw him delivering those sharp, hilarious critiques, but what was happening before that?
Intense work. Almost obsessive, based on the sources. His daily routine was apparently like newsroom editors.
Reading everything.
Pretty much. The New York Times, Wall Street Journal, Fox News transcripts, even obscure think tank reports.
Wow.
And then he and his team would just dissect it all, looking for every contradiction, every fallacy, every sort of hidden agenda.
That shows a real dedication, a refusal to be superficial.
Yeah, and what really set him apart, I think, was that he didn't just say something was wrong. He showed you how it was wrong.
Like that Crossfire interview.
Exactly. Yeah. The infamous 2004 Crossfire appearance on CNN. He wasn't there to plug anything. He just dismantled the whole show, live, on their air.
Calling it hurting America by turning serious debate into theater. That took guts.
Absolutely. And guess what? 2 months later, Crossfire is canceled.
Wow. So he used humor, but strategically.
Right. Not to escape seriousness, but almost like a Trojan horse. To sneak truth past our defenses.
Make you laugh.
Make you laugh, then maybe feel a little uncomfortable.
And then start thinking differently.
Exactly. That's the sequence.
There's that quote from a producer. John rewrote jokes 15 times if the facts weren't airtight.
15 times.
Think about that discipline. He wasn't chasing applause. He was obsessed with accuracy.
Which is such a contrast to so much media today, right? Which often feels addicted to just generating outrage.
Totally. Stewart's commitment to logic, to verifiable facts that became this rare magnetic thing, the discipline required for that, it's pretty immense. And this whole philosophy, it wasn't just for comedy, was it? It ran deeper. Like after 9/11.
Oh, that moment. September 20th, 2001, his return to the show.
Yeah, 9 days after the attacks.
Yeah.
And there were just no jokes.
No. He just sat there, visibly emotional, and then looked at the camera, his voice trembling, and said that thing about the view from his apartment.
The view from my apartment was the World Trade Center, and now it's gone. But I can see the Statue of Liberty, and she's still there.
Chills. That moment, I think, really defined him beyond just being a comedian. It positioned him as a kind of moral compass in a crisis.
Yeah.
He seemed to believe that satire had to serve something more important than just ratings. It had to serve maybe humanity.
And his guiding philosophy sounds pretty simple, but powerful. Laugh when it helps. Speak seriously when it matters.
Right. He didn't hide behind the humor. He used it precisely, like a tool.
And then there was the rally in 2010.
The rally to restore sanity, endure fear.
Yeah. In D.C., over 215,000 people showed up. And it wasn't partisan.
No, it was explicitly nonpartisan. It felt like a call for just decency, reason, honest conversation.
He told the crowd, we live in hard times, not end times. We can have a conversation without demonizing each other.
Such a needed message, then and now.
Definitely. And while everything felt like it was dividing into louder and louder camps, Stewart very deliberately stood in the middle. Not because he was afraid to take a stand, it seems, but out of conviction.
Believing the real power wasn't in taking sides, but in defending sanity itself.
Yeah. And his decisions, what stories to cover, when to use humor, when to be deadly serious, they all seemed guided by that one core question. Is this helping people think better?
Which is so much harder than just going viral with outrage, isn't it?
Infinitely harder. It requires restraint. And Stewart somehow mastered that, staying relevant and impactful through restraint.
It's quite the achievement.
It really is. Which brings us to this paradox, doesn't it? Jon Stewart never held political office. He didn't own a media empire in the traditional sense.
Nope.
And yet, for probably more than a decade, he was arguably the most influential voice in American media. How does that happen?
Well, that influence wasn't just perception, it was measurable. Remember that 2009 Pew Research survey?
Vaguely. What did it say?
It ranked Jon Stewart as one of the most trusted journalists in the U.S.
Even though he kept saying he wasn't a journalist.
Exactly. He consistently denied it. But he earned that trust, it seems, because he wasn't manufacturing outrage. He was diagnosing it.
Ah, nice distinction.
He didn't feed the tribalism. He brilliantly exposed how absurd it often was.
And crucially, he always punched up.
Yeah.
Right? Never down.
Always. Challenging CNN on false equivalence, meticulously taking apart Fox News narratives, confronting financial figures like Jim Cramer on CNBC after the 2008 crash.
That Cramer interview was legendary. People really felt that accountability.
Yeah, it resonated deeply.
And he didn't just use that influence for commentary. He used it for actual accountability.
You mean like with the veterans and 9/11 first responders?
Exactly. When they were being denied health care, he didn't just, tweet his support. He showed up.
He went before Congress.
Yeah. Face trembling, voice cracking, basically telling them, they did their jobs, now do yours.
And the legislation passed shortly after, didn't it?
It did. That's what you call soft power made hard, right? Leveraging that cultural influence, that trust he'd built.
To directly impact policy, turning persuasion into actual law.
It wasn't just about changing minds anymore. It was about changing laws.
And his legacy didn't just stop when he left the show initially. Look at the people who came after him, who he mentored.
Colbert, Oliver, Minhaj. Yeah. They carried forward that idea, didn't they?
Yeah.
That truth, when wrapped in wit, somehow becomes unforgettable.
Yeah, it sticks with you.
So back in 2015, when Stewart walked away from The Daily Show, right at its peak earnings, everyone assumed burnout.
Right, that was the immediate narrative.
But looking back, maybe it was more of a strategic pivot.
It seems that way. Maybe he understood something that few people in media really get. Staying too long dulls your impact. Leaving early sharpens your legacy.
Interesting way to put it.
Yeah.
And he didn't just disappear.
No, not at all. He just shifted focus. Quietly but deliberately redirected his energy towards public service and advocacy.
Like the 9/11 Victim Compensation Fund fight?
Exactly. From 2015 to 2020, he became the face, the leading voice for that cause, tirelessly pushing Congress.
And when the bill stalled,
he went viral again. But not with a joke. It was with raw fury, tears even, publicly shaming lawmakers for their indifference.
And it worked. The legislation passed just weeks later.
Incredible impact. Then, in 2021, he came back with The Problem with Jon Stewart on Apple TV.
It felt different, right? More like Deep Dive.
Totally. It cemented that transition from satirist to more of a systems critic, tackling really complex issues one at a time, gun control, the stock market.
And then, the big surprise.
Yeah.
February 2024, he returns to The Daily Show.
Yeah. But not, it seems, for fame or the spotlight again.
No, it felt like he was coming back to guide things, to mentor a new generation through this, chaotic time.
Hosting Monday nights, explicitly mentoring younger voices, making sure those editorial standards he set were maintained.
That's not retirement. That's strategic deployment of influence. Long-term thinking.
His whole career feels like this blueprint for purposeful evolution, doesn't it? Yeah.
From joke teller
to truth teller.
Truth activator.
And maybe the lesson there is that crisis isn't the end of clarity. Sometimes it's where clarity is born.
That's powerful. Jon Stewart never claimed to be a prophet. He never, raised a flag or wrote some grand manifesto.
No, nothing like that.
But over 2 decades, he became something maybe much rarer. He was someone who just consistently reminded America how to think clearly in a world that just gets louder and noisier.
And he built that legacy not through, manufactured outrage, but through restraint, which is kind of counterintuitive.
Yeah. He used humor, but not just to win arguments. He used it to disarm fear.
Yeah. Disarm fear, peel back the layers of propaganda, spark those real, sometimes uncomfortable, but necessary questions.
In a world obsessed with instant impact, he chose the slow burn, slow influence.
Yeah, and in an era addicted to extremes, he just consistently stood for moderation, but delivered with this, like, unflinching integrity.
And that choice, quiet, deliberate, maybe sometimes unpopular, ended up being the most powerful choice of all, didn't it?
It really seems that way.
His story doesn't give you a simple formula, do this, get that, but it does whisper this profound lesson, I think. True value isn't measured by what you say when people agree. It's measured by how you speak when no one else dares to.
That hits home.
So in this time where attention feels like the only currency that matters, Jon Stewart kind of reminds us that the real wealth, the stuff that lasts, it lies in clarity, credibility, and courage.
Clarity, credibility, courage, yeah.
So let me just leave you with this thought to chew on. When was the last time someone helped you think more clearly? Not louder, not angrier, just better. Who are those voices for you?